Hi guys, how you doing? I've got a wee spare 20 minutes here, so I thought I'd do a video. I've not done one in a while, and I've had a lot of conversations with people in the last few weeks about their progress. People making really nice progress, losing a bit of weight, gaining a bit of strength. I think by and large, like for me, when it comes to gaining strength, like most folk I can pretty much guarantee will see a nice bit of strength progress as long as they turn up at the sessions and follow the sort of what's been asked of you guys in terms of rep schemes and stuff and follow the progressions. But outside of that, when it comes to other goals like weight loss goals, I think I've said before that that's almost like completely independent of the sessions themselves, and that's because other factors come into it. The main one being food intake, and secondary things like step count and things. But having said that, I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't really try and dictate to people what to do now. One, because there's different approaches that work for different people, but two, I've realised that ultimately there's only so much guidance one can give someone, and it's ultimately up to the individual themselves to reach a point of almost at a point of no return where they're like, something has to change here. And one of the first telltale signs, I think, that someone is going to make the desired changes is when they probably ask for help. So I've tried in the past maybe to sort of reach out to folk, but ultimately it's not really for me to decide if they're wanting to change things because I don't actually know, and it would be wrong of me to make assumptions about anything, whether it's like weight loss, strength gains, whatever. Everyone's got their different reasons to come and train. So that's why now I just kind of give out some generic advice, and then from there it's up to the person to choose what it is they're hoping to get out of not just the training but outside of the training. So, but the common thread that I've noticed with talking to people that are really in a good place right now with in terms of like progress, in terms of weight loss, and things like that, is that it's totally come from them. Like, so people will maybe get in touch and update with the progress and say, "Oh, thanks, couldn't have done it at the classes and stuff like that," and that's really nice to hear. Right, I appreciate that. But yeah, okay, the training can synergistically help that, but ultimately, like what you're doing yourself is you're responsible for it. You're responsible for your progress or lack of progress, and I think that is something that is once you understand that no one's going to do it for you or no one's going to fix you. In a sense, it has to come from the individual. Like I'd like to think I understand the human mind and the sort of irrational part of it, more than most. And I understand that no matter what you think you need to do to like put things in the right path, or no matter whether it's something serious or something a bit less serious like nutrition or whatever, like no one can tell you. Like even the amount of people that say to me when it comes to nutrition, like I know what to do, it's just doing it. And that is the thing, like everyone probably knows what to do and it is just doing it. And that's when it becomes about like the person and their mindset. And it's not just a case of I'm just going to change my mindset. Because I know it's not as simple as that. I actually think it's almost like you need to almost reach like a rock bottom moment in order to then think enough is enough. I need to make the changes that are required. So if you take extreme examples of that, not that like for example alcoholism or drug addiction, like you when you read a lot of this, I love reading the stories of people that have like turned their life around, and it's quite inspirational when you read where they've been to where they are now, and all this sort of destructive behaviour that can tie in with all that. And the common denominator in the trigger of the change was a rock bottom moment where, like, I don't know what that might be. It's different for everyone, I suppose. And I suppose in some ways, like when it comes to weight loss and fat loss, it's no different. So it might be like something that happens that you just feel like you just feel it. You can't even. It's just a feeling. You can't even. I can't even explain it. Having experienced it myself in other parts of my life, like it's just a feeling you get, and everything changes. You suddenly like can make the right choices, and that's the same for weight loss and fat loss and training. Like if you're wanting to change, but you feel like there's something stopping you, it's maybe that you've just not got that point yet of like no return. I'm not saying so just wait and it'll get worse and worse and then suddenly you'll be great again. I don't really mean that. I guess I'm just trying to say that no one can do it for you. And it has to come from you. So when it comes to diets, the reason people turn to diets, like short-term diets, like 1200 calorie day diets, 1300 calorie day diets, people turn to these because they do deliver quick fixes and they do deliver short-term solutions, but they don't work in the long term because they don't address the root causes, and they're almost like looking to something else to fix them. Like, okay, well, if I just do that, I'll be fixed. And I think that even with the Shed Bootcamp, I think years ago, maybe 10, 11, 12 years ago, that is what some people would sign up thinking, oh, I'm just going to sign up and this guy's going to like make me super fit, super lean. And because you could tell, because like people would also say with that, or an extension of that, I don't feel like I'm losing weight yet. Like it's not working. So that's a common phrase you hear, like when it comes to training or a diet. This isn't working, or it's not working for me. That's a cop out, and that's the language that I recognise certain language, and that's the language of someone who's still yet to understand that it's not anyone else's responsibility other than them. So if something's not working, it's not to do with the approach or the thing that they're blaming, if that makes sense, is them. So that's why when it comes to like diets and stuff, I'm saying like you need to be accountable for yourself. You need to make accounts of things, and that's why I'm sort of recommending quite a few people recently, and others who are just doing it off their own back, is the whole tracking of the calorie intake, because I've noticed that I've said it before for a long time, it's a really useful tool. It's not a diet and it's not something you do forever, but it is a really useful tool because it creates accountability to you, and it also creates an awareness of what you're putting in, like your body. So you have to set your target and then you need to stick to it. So you need to like literally everything that you're consuming, you have to put down on paper or MyFitnessPal, whatever it is, so that you can see and you've got an accountability there. Like, oh, I need to mark this in, and suddenly you see, okay, well, that's why I'm like not losing weight, or that's why I'm gaining weight. It's because I'm eating more than I should. The second part of that is, in order to achieve sustainable weight loss, that is mainly fat loss, is you have to also be accountable to the protein intake. So you have to get your calorie intake and your protein intake within that calorie intake. And if you do that, you cannot fail. It just works. And then what it also does is it helps create awareness for you for portion sizes, so that there's going to become a point where you've understood a lot more by going through this process, and then you don't need to continue to track, because suddenly you've got new habits, new behaviours that are linked to what you've learned through that process. And that is what a lot of folk that I've been speaking to in the last few weeks have been doing. The protein intake, again, it's crucial when you're also hitting the calorie intake, because one of the hardest things to do when you're losing weight is to like minimise cravings, or we were speaking about it this morning to someone, this feeling of addiction to chocolate, for example, and they've noticed that their cravings for it have diminished a lot. And that's because the protein intake has been consistently much higher every day for the last few weeks. So what can sometimes feel like an addiction, like, oh, I'm addicted to chocolate, I can't stop eating it, or sweets, or whatever it may be, it might feel like that too. It might feel like the same sort of behaviour linked to addiction, but it's not. Like, chocolate isn't an addictive substance. It might feel like it is, but it's not. And a lot of the time it's just to do with managing and getting the right balance in your diet, and that's where the protein intake comes in big time, as well as the calorie intake. So if you're eating too little, far too little for you, you're going to get these cravings. You're going to be fighting against your own physiology. You're going to be fighting against your own hormones, particularly ghrelin and leptin, which help regulate hunger. So when you reduce your calorie intake quite dramatically, these hormones increase. And what they do is they literally tell you to eat on a subconscious level. It's not like you're thinking about it as such. It's a subconscious thing. It's a signal that's sent to the brain to eat. So you crave those things. So low calorie diets increase, or too low calorie diets for you, that you increase those hormones. So if you're in a calorie deficit, obviously you're going to increase. These hormones are going to go up. Okay, higher protein intake though helps bring these hormones back down again. So what it means is that you're less likely to suffer cravings. And therefore you're less likely to then go and overeat or accidentally eat 5 bars of chocolate or whatever it might be. So yeah, that's it really. It's just, I would just want to make a short video with some thoughts. It may or may not be very helpful based on what I've just said at the start of this video. Unless you're ready to change, you won't really action what's been said anyway, because it really does have to come from the person. And I don't want you to hit a rock bottom moment, but sometimes at the same time you do need to get to a point where it's like, enough is enough. I feel like crap, I don't feel happy in myself. Something has to give. And that's when I know that you'll change and you'll make the changes necessary. And it's a journey. I'm not saying it's going to be clean. It's going to be clean easy from there. It's just going to be a straightforward path. It's not. But the change in here in the mind, like, will ensure that although the path might be one step forward and back, it's on the right path. It doesn't matter if you take the wrong turn every so often, as long as you're continuing that path, and it all starts in the head. So yeah, so I just think, if you're asking for help, it's usually a sign that you're on the first step of that journey. Okay, so anyway, cheers.